In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, you gumpers.
Oh, good morning to you. Top of the good morning to you. Munton here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Let me take that off the screen because I've got a treat for you this morning. A sight for sore eyes, to be sure, this morning. If I could find it, I would take it off. Oh, here it is. Actually, before I take it off, may I issue this blessing to you? Not that I'm doing that in any official capacity. May music fill your heart. May luck bring you cheer. May God's brightest blessing shine on you all year. Yay! And here she is, that sight for sore eyes. Mrs. M, good morning to you. How are you? What?
I need some sound.
It's because you're not Irish.
Is that why?
Yeah,
so
if
you're not actually Irish,
well,
you don't get volume.
I was telling you who was on the show this morning. You said he's not Irish. You are allowed to watch and be on the show, even if you're not Irish this morning. In fact, especially so as you issue the official.
To be so. I think.
Could you officially say Happy St. Patrick's Day?
Oh,
on my screen. No, in Irish. It's on my screen.
No, I don't know how to say that.
Oh, come on, give it a go at least.
No.
All right, be like that.
It just looks like you've written something and then
What made it up?
reversed it.
You can't say that.
Jumbled the letters
I'm
around.
offended. The Irish part of me is offended by you saying that.
Yeah.
Did you just honestly say on St. Patrick's Day? It looks like I've written something and jumbled it around.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well,
Sorry.
The unofficial Irish ambassador will be with us, and he may give you a telling off.
That's fine.
Imagine he'll be quite drunk and discreet about it, if that's possible.
That's fine. I can take a public cussing or a public booing.
Okay. Yes, you've learned from the best.
Yes, I have.
Top of the morning. St. Patrick's Day to all from T-Duck. Now, there's a little bit of a streamy glitch, wasn't there, going on?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a streamy glitch first thing in the morning?
I think we need to go through our hard drive and delete a load of stuff.
Like
I think we've got too much on our computer.
It's just you. Whenever you're on before me, warming up the toilet seat, as it were, things happen. And you've been playing with Zoom. Zoom is a malevolent force in society.
Do you know what I think it is? It's this excuse.
Did Microsoft buy it?
No, it's this excuse. Yeah, probably. But it's this excuse that you've got that it's because of me. And in your head, you're believing. You've created this belief that when I precede you on the morning activities, that I somehow muck up your studio. And then you come in with the expectation of it going wrong.
Honestly,
and that's what's going on. Seriously, Phil will back me up, won't he? That what you think about, you bring about.
So I'm actually wrong in my assertions, and you're going to use my own guest to prove that.
Yes.
This morning. Thank you. Classy. Bon dia alegria from T-Duck to the Gumpers. And deep thought of the day. Look, from St. Patrick himself. Thank you so much, T-Duck, for St. Patrick's Day flavoured content this morning. Excellent job.
I wonder what St. Patrick tastes like.
What?
You said flavoured.
Oh, St. Patrick flavoured. Okay.
Well, what was it like? Tastes like Guinness and
That's our first question then this morning. What
does it taste of Guinness and like a cheesy mash with a bit of cabbage in? What's that called?
Colcannon.
Yeah,
yes,
great stuff.
Okay. All right. Two of the great cultural icons of
soda bread.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say some words I think might be culturally appropriate.
There is going to be nobody here who remembers the actual St. Patrick. I mean, some old giffers here, but there are not. There's no one old enough to remember St. Patrick himself, but they may have licked a holy relic or two in their time.
Okay.
So I can show you a picture if that helps. Which I'm hastily trying to download now.
Yeah, if you can get it
You
up.
so derailed me with all that very idea, but I'll do what I can.
What very idea? The idea that...
What does St. Patrick taste like?
Oh.
No one has ever said that on a St. Patrick's Day special, have they?
I don't know,
suppose.
maybe.
Okay, let's see. Let's find out. But here is a picture which will help your... you know the phrase, the mind's eye?
Mm-hmm.
I like to, think about the mind's ear and the mind's nose. This old smells, you've got to imagine them because they're not around anymore. Your mind's nose. So what does your mind's tongue tell you about this man here?
Ew.
Okay. Deep thought of the day then. We're going from the sublime to we went from...
I was
going
thinking
from
of the
ridiculous.
mind's butt.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Going from the ridiculous to the sublime. I am imperfect in many things. And God forgive me for being so ridiculous and now sublime on the very sacred day of St. Patrick. I am imperfect in many things. Nevertheless, I want my brethren, and are you still thinking about things through your mind's bottom or something like that? Whilst I'm trying to read some I'm reading some holy words here and you're just giggling. It's like being a child in church, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually do feel
you are, yes,
like a little naughty girl.
A child in church. Okay, let me try that again then. And please, actually, I'm going to take you off.
Would you like me to read it?
Yes, go on. You do it. Actually, yeah, as a punishment, in a truly religious way, you can do the religious reading.
Okay. I'm imperfect in many things. Nevertheless, I want my brethren and kinsfolk to know my nature, so that they may be able to perceive my soul's desire.
Very nice. So is that kind of transparency there for him wanting to know other people to know his soul's desire, perhaps the brethren and the kinsfolk? A nice sentiment. And wasn't it St. Patrick who drove the snakes out of Ireland as well?
I don't know.
What vehicle did he use, though? I wonder, when he drove the snakes out. And it must have been it must have been a people carrier, depending on how many snakes there were, of course. Deep thought number 2. You could go again, Mrs. M.
Never trust a dog to watch your food, as one of our lovely little children found out when we adopted or when our dog just arrived on our doorstep one day, and we let the dog in the house, little Peggy, as she's now known.
Yes.
And
most people were thinking it would have been naughty Jimmy, but it wasn't.
No,
it was little sweet Peggy, wasn't it?
Little Minnie was about 2 years old, and I just made her some pasta. She loved her food, and she just put it on the table, turned around, and this stray dog had eaten it all. She howled.
She learned, didn't she, the hard way? And then, of course, as Sol grew up and became a toddler, Peggy was quite good on the old pizza drive-by, wasn't she?
When he took his first steps, and I was recording it, he had a bit of pizza in his hand,
hanging out of his hand.
She came and did a drive-by.
Yeah,
naughty Peggy.
We got that on video somewhere. It's hilarious. St. Patrick was a 5th century Romano-British Christian missionary and a bishop in Ireland. Patrick is known as the Apostle of Ireland and is also the primary patron saint of Ireland. Patrick actually was never formally canonized, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Being canonized just sounds like what's going on in Paris at the moment, doesn't it? Like water cannons or being shot out of a cannon at a circus. No, he was never...
Is that happening in Paris?
Water cannons. Like people shot out of cannons.
Yeah.
I think quite a few people want to shoot Emmanuel Macron from a cannon at the moment into the Atlantic. But anyway, less said, soonest mended, I think, in France at the moment. Anyway, Patrick was never formally canonized, made a saint, as he lived before the current laws of the Catholic Church in these matters. It doesn't stop people celebrating it all over the world, does it?
No.
And Irish saying in Portuguese, please.
No,
take it away.
I can't do that. You can do it.
Que a estrada se eleve ao seu encontro. May the road rise up to meet you.
That's nice. That's
really beautiful this morning, isn't it? And of course, yes, the unofficial Irish ambassador will be joining us at around 9:30. And before that, we have Phil, if his connection works, from around the Monsanto area, back in Portugal, back in the mountains of Portugal. And Phil will be talking to us. And guess what? Phil used to work for Guinness. So I think he'll have 1 or 2 St. Patrick's Day memories to share with us. And Coach Turner, if he can join us from a notable racetrack, he will. We shall see how we get on with that this morning.
Do you want me to do some reading? Because I know you've got a bit of a chesty cough, haven't you, at the moment?
I'm a bit chesty. And normally, out of the 2 of us, that would be you. But this morning, it is me.
I have had a bit of a hacking cough as well. Who knew Irish relations with Portugal can be traced back to antiquity? Evidence from the megalithic period shows early contacts between the Iberian Peninsula and Ireland.
Now that's
you do get a sense of that, don't you?
What does that mean, though? Early contacts is that the early Tinder for the Neolithic people? I wonder, or megalithic. Sorry.
I don't know, but I do think there's a similar look sometimes, isn't there?
Of course, the Celtic coast. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Between like sort of Irish people and some of the Portuguese people.
When we celebrate St. Patrick's Day here, go on. No, you go on. You go on.
Do we just jinx each other?
Yeah, go on. When we no, go on. Go on, please.
You do it. You do it.
When we, I thought you were going to interrupt me again just for fun there. No, when we celebrate St. Patrick's Day here, there's a lot of connection, I think. And Jerry at Expats Portugal has notably said, to people, it's like Ireland but with sun. I don't know if anyone else would agree with that, but I can see that. And yeah, I think there are a lot of similarities, and you have that with Spain and France, don't you? And Wales and Ireland, all that wonderful Atlantic Celtic coast and the spirit of the people.
Mm. In recent years, DNA analysis dated from the last ice age suggests that Portuguese Iberian people were ancestors of the Gaelic Irish. These links persisted during the medieval period. Trade increased between Irish and Iberian ports as Irish mercenaries, pilgrims, and scholars found a sanctuary in Portugal.
Bring the party.
Yeah,
even in those days,
thanks,
you would have thought, wouldn't you? Irish mercenaries, pilgrims, and scholars turning up. That is a great night out. When people say to you, who would your ideal dinner party guests be? Can you imagine being sat with an Irish mercenary, a pilgrim, and a scholar all at the same table? A few beers. Fantastic. That's a
I mean, you've been playing some golden oldies this morning, and reading that, all of a sudden I could hear Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
Oh yeah,
that good old Cher classic.
Well, I've got something for you along those lines this morning.
But not because I think all Irish people are like that. By the way, that's got nothing to do with Irish.
You are in so much trouble.
No, that's got nothing to do with that.
When the Irish ambassador, unofficial, turns up, I think you're in quite a lot of trouble.
Okay, well,
good morning, all.
I will take
the
my
Ancient
chances.
Mariner, yes, and James is here as well. Bon dia, Gumpers, Feliz Sexta Todos. We'll come back to your greetings. Thank you for saying hello, Andy, James, Matty. Darren, with some of the classic iconography of St. Patrick's Day there. Losing phone signal. No, we know that excuse, don't we? I'm on the train. Oh, I'm just going into a tunnel. Tabitha's here as well. Jean, Bayrandi. Thank you, Bayrandi, for your events. We'll make sure we include those there. Anna's here too. And Paul Richards, who's had a little bit of a tremor this morning. The earth has moved for Paul Richards this morning. We better say that, hadn't we? Greetings from a shaky Algarve. We experienced our first earthquake tremor at 3:35 this morning.
You say the first? Is that? Have you had more? Have you had subsequent? Are there more coming?
Well, the Algarve is known for the earth moving for people.
Is it?
I think. Yeah. All those dirty weekends down there, etc. But it's probably the first one they've actually experienced. Maybe, I don't know.
We felt one when we were in central Portugal, didn't we? At Donna Grass's house.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's not an unusual thing. We are living on a living thing. It has its moments, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Of that kind. And look, it's official. You are sassy today.
Yeah, I am.
What do you say? Not backing down, doubling down. Yeah, I am. Okay, so to get you in the mood with a bit of singing. Now, there is an obvious and a howling. What can I say? Aspect to what I'm about to play you. We've released Les's song of the week. The Caldash Crooner has been busy, and he has sung Mona Lisa as our official release this week over on the YouTube channel. And back in the day, a few months or years ago, he recorded this one. So I'll let him introduce it. And please, if you know the words, do sing along. Let's get in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day today.
Hello, everybody. Les here again. If Elaine Carr could put this on the Irish site for me, I would appreciate it. Because although it's for everybody, it is especially for the Irish people. I feel as though I've got a bit of an affinity with the Irish people because my mother-in-law was Irish and came from County Cork. Actually in the city of Cork, or just outside anyway. She was called Kathleen Kelleher, and she lived in Lower Glasheen Road, if that rings a bell with anybody. Anyway, this song is called Once Upon a Time There Was a Tavern, and an 18-year-old came on and sang this in 1968 and became #1 in the charts right away in the UK charts and #2 in America. She was absolutely beautiful then, and I'm sure she's still beautiful now. Here we go then. Once upon a time there was a tavern where we used to raise a glass or two. Remember how we laughed away the hours and dreamed of all the great things we would do. Those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose. We'd fight and never lose, 'cause we were young and sure to know the way. La 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 la. Then the busy years went rushing by us. We lost our starry notions on the way. If by chance I see you in the tavern, we'd smile at one another and we'd say, those were the days, my friend, we thought they'd never end. We'd sing and dance forever and a day. We'd live the life we choose. We'd fight and never lose. Those were the days. Oh, those were the days. The la 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 was by my daughter.
Sorry about that.
Right. I don't know if you managed to hear that or not. We had a bit of a streamy glitch, like I said, at this end. So we weren't able to sing along, were we, Mrs. M?
I was getting ready to go
La 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 la.
And then when I heard his daughter's voice la laing, I thought you'd used a sound effect, on one of your things. I thought you'd done a sound effect on you la laing, making it really like high pitched, like you do sometimes.
I haven't done any jiggery pokery behind the scenes. So I hope that streams well for you.
Nobody's commented to say where's it
so
gone?
I think that was going out fine. And Victoria's here as well, saying fabulous. And top of the morning a toros. That's a great combo, isn't it? Top of the morning a toros. From sunny Portimao this morning. Okay, thank you. And I hope that has got you in a singing mood. Tabitha actually has gone back to, she said before we played that, I'm going back to sleep until you play some Irish music. Now, thing is, I looked up Mary Hopkin, who sang that, of course, back in the 1960s, I think, and had a sensational hit with it, as people used to say. Sensational. And it was produced by Paul McCartney. And she was married to Tony Visconti, who was the producer, of course. I think David Bowie from time to time. He was involved with Bowie's production, but also T-Rex as well. So some incredible pedigree. Hey, Phil! Some incredible pedigree behind Mary Hopkin, who had the hit with Those Were the Days, My Friend, with that incredible kind of Russian traditional song turned into a 60s classic with the production on there. But she's from Wales. She's not even Irish. So sorry if that shattered anyone's understanding of Mary Hopkin. There's definitely an Irish vibe going on there, isn't there? And the sing-along value of the song. But she is actually Welsh. So we need to get closer to the Welsh sing-song, and maybe the unofficial Irish ambassador will help us with that when he arrives a little bit later at 9:30. Okay. Bom dia, Campus. Feliz sexta a todos. We're putting the sex in sexta-feira. Okay, time feito. And look, James woke up so early. He's already had a nap this morning. Good work. Good morning, Gumpers. From Andy Klein. Good to see you here. And Matty, bon dia, alegria todos, de Pombal, pequeno chuva. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. What's the weather report there, Mrs. M?
I haven't looked out the window yet. It looks kind of sunny, but hearing that there's a little bit of rain in Pombal is a little bit worrying.
Special memories of Pombal. We like Pombal, don't we?
Do.
Good morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the Good Morning Portugal to you, Darren, in Porto. How is it in Porto? Are there people getting ready for St. Patrick's Day? Have you got? I know you worked in corporate for a while, Mrs. M.
Yeah.
And any chance corporate people have to have an official party?
Yeah.
You can't be a corporate drone, can you? Oh, sorry, that's not the very nice word. A corporate cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Personnel. Any excuse to go to the pub.
Yeah, you can't just say I'm going to the pub, can you? But if it's St. Patrick's Day, everyone can go and get absolutely bladdered, and it's like culturally acceptable suddenly.
Yeah.
Are you saying you did just go to the pub when you felt like it?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, it's all behind you now.
Well, we had
HR can do nothing now.
No, I had a job where I could go for meetings.
Oh,
Business
entertain
meetings.
people.
No, not really. But I would have our meeting rooms used to get quite full up, and so I'd say let's go for a walk along the canal.
Oh, look,
in
there's a
North
pub.
London.
Oh, there's a pub.
Why don't we just sit down and I would have coffee,
Yes.
but I might drink a bit of alcohol my lunch hour.
Okay.
On the green.
And any happy memories of St. Patrick's Day in corporate? Or, if you can
really
remember them, you didn't really have them, did you?
I had many happy memories of corporate life.
Okay, good.
But mainly the social aspect and not the work aspect.
Do HR have many happy memories of your corporate life?
I don't know.
Losing phone signal. You're losing phone signal. Can't answer that. Does it mean I have to visit an Irish bar tonight? Now, the interesting thing about that, we had a message from the unofficial Irish ambassador who actually tells us that, he sent some fantastic pictures
that's so
of
cute.
him in his drum and pipe band from back in the day.
So rock and roll.
He says, this morning, I was going to show you the nearest thing to having an Irish Guinness, as no real Irishman will consider drinking Guinness in a foreign Irish pub. And all this using the magic of science and a pin.
Oh, that sounds good.
It does sound like a lot of fun. And maybe the kids should be involved in that as a bit of homeschooling action as well. Or maybe not. What did you do at homeschool today? We made Guinness.
Bootleg Guinness.
Yes. Okay, so no, let's not do that. It doesn't mean you have to, but I would thoroughly recommend it. But beware, Irish pubs around the world. Real Irish people don't drink in unreal Irish pubs, it would seem.
The funny thing is, wherever I've gone, there's always been an Irish pub, but you don't get like a British pub. Like you don't get like a.
Oh, I think you got one or two in the
Whitbread or something.
Yeah, it's certainly not the same scale, is it, of British pubs around the world?
But they're probably not the same. I was speaking to an Irish lady yesterday who said, "Oh, this is the day when we actually just hide from all the tourists." Like she was from Dublin, and she said, "Oh, on this day we tend to hide in and have private parties because it's just tourists in Dublin going crazy."
Yes,
and kind of adopting their celebrations.
Yes, cultural appropriation, you might say. Patrick, sana do it. Is as good as I can probably do. There, Gary August, thank you for that, Tabitha. And morning to you, Gary. Bon dia. Great Friday, guys. Morning to you. You bring on what you believe. Yes, is that me jinxing the show again? There's nothing to do with Mrs. M. Okay.
I actually rebooted the computer for you.
Did you? Maybe that did it.
But that's how you start every day. You start every day with a fresh.
Olá, bom dia a todos e feliz dia to São Patrico in Portuguese here. And St. Patrick's Day is historically observed through a number of traditions. Tabitha Lindyboom, is that an Irish name? It's not, is it?
Lindyboom doesn't sound very Irish.
I wonder, Tabitha, if what's your connection with Ireland? These include preparing food like corned beef and cabbage, musical gatherings called Cayleys, and you talk about public booings. I think that's where I did get publicly booed at a Cayley, didn't I?
That was one of our first outings.
That takes some doing, doesn't it?
You got a public booing.
Yeah, at a Cayley. A place of goodwill and bonhomie, and then I get a public booing and decorating with symbols like shamrocks and leprechauns. Thank you. And now I'm going back to sleep until you play some Irish music. It's not easy playing music on here. We'll get into trouble with YouTube, unfortunately, if we do that. Bon dia a todos. Looking forward to another fun-filled fin de semana. That's good, isn't it? Fun-filled fin de semana for Andy, and thanks for the events. We'll bring those later. Anna, bon fin de semana a todos from the Algarve. And yes, she is, absolutely. Algarve and Lisbon are hotspots for light earthquakes. It was very light, and yes, it was our first. And maybe you could celebrate. Mark's here as well. Bon dia alegria. 2 reasons to celebrate for Paul, the first earthquake and St. Patrick's. And Mark, how are you doing in central Portugal? And morning, Andrew, from the Swede in Portugal, who would be Anna. So that sounded great. Just glitching at our end, Mrs. M. Okay, I thought you'd frozen up then. You were looking down. Are you not watching Phil behind the scenes there?
No, I'm.
He's quite entertaining when he's in the green.
No, I can't see him because the angle of this mic, it crosses at the bottom of my screen.
But what's Phil doing? He's reacting to something, isn't he? Or is he praying? Is he doing his St. Patrick's Day prayers first thing in the morning?
He might be warming up his hands. Is he in Portugal?
Yeah,
or is
he's
in
in the mountains. He's freezing. Yeah, he might be freezing over there. Have to head out on my motorcycle
because he likes to use his hands when he talks. So he might be like warming them up,
ready for conversation.
Yeah.
So he's off to Lisbon, which is what Matty calls Lisbon. We'll try to keep listening on the show via my intercom phone while on the bike. Wow, that sounds like fun.
Isn't that not dangerous? Sorry to be all like safety.
Grandma, people have been doing that for years.
Grandma.
Yeah, don't worry. People have been having headphones inside their crash helmets for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Origo Mota is here. One of our new Portuguese friends. Hello, nice couple and friends. I'd very much appreciate it if you reacted here live to the Portuguese song for Eurovision. I'm trying to get clearance to play it without getting into trouble. It's called I Coração by Mimicat. It didn't hit me first time, Origo, I have to say, as an instant hit. I do like the Portuguese entries, and who doesn't like a Portuguese entry first thing in the morning? I would like you to activate the English translation. Thanks. Have an excellent weekend. We'll come back. We'll do that next week, and we'll certainly be part of the build-up towards Eurovision.
When is Eurovision?
It could be next weekend, couldn't it? Not this one, but the one after. I think there's some work to be done and some hype to be created. Phil seems to know. We'll bring him on in just a moment. And it's raining in Castanheira de Pera. I'm off to. Oh, she got the hump. I'm off to have an Irish breakfast and blare out the Irish music.
I don't think she's got the hump. I think she's having a great time.
We couldn't satisfy her, though, could we, this morning? And FU, Facebook user. Morning greetings from the Minho. Feliz São Patricio. Thank you very much. And Gary's come as well. The other Gary. 2 Garys here. So we've got Gary Sandwich. Bon dia, all you lovely people. Fantastic. We should bring him on. I can't wait. Let's bring Phil on. He was tense. There was a woman chasing a balloon. Has Phil been foraging for mushrooms again in his own field? Or is this in real life? I wonder. Let's give a nice big round of applause.
Hello. Hello. Hola, bon dia, alegría. From sunny Spain. Sunny Spain.
Oh, mate, I thought you'd arrived.
No, not quite. We're about four and a quarter hours out. So we're somewhere between Palencia and Burgos, somewhere like that.
Thank you so much for fitting us in on the journey then, in that case. Really good of you.
What's it like being on the road? Does it feel nice?
We love it.
Yeah.
We still love it. We came to a rather painful decision recently that at some point our camper van will probably have to go because we can't really matriculate. It's just too complex.
That's a bit heartbreaking, isn't it?
Well, no, because it was kind of a baby step along the journey to get us to where we are. And at another point in time, we'll get another one in Portugal and go off using our home in Portugal to go touring around Europe, I guess.
Oh, wonderful. What a lovely idea. What a lovely idea. So what have you been up to since we last saw you? Great to see you here. Thank you for fitting us in on the tour.
Oh, well, I don't like to miss these. I enjoy them so much. It's been a fantastic. It's been a fantastic month, actually. Kimberly, Lady K, she and I were leaders on for groups during the Infinite Possibilities certification run by Mike Dooley, which is always very, very powerful. And it's my 5th time as a leader, and I've seen people that I helped go on to do the most amazing courses and things. It's tremendously fulfilling. But I think when you find that you've got quite a lot of what you want in life, to be able to give something back and to help others gives you the most wonderfully warm feeling. I highly recommend it as a thing to do. And then, of course, we're launching our course in this month, which is This One Thing. And that's very, very exciting because we've kind of not really gone full blast at one. Our course, it's not really a course. It's a group of workshops with small, intimate groups, live, meeting 6 times. It's the basis of it is to find your one thing, to help people find this one thing. I mean, if I look at 10 years ago, my this one thing was just to be able to go out and thank you so much. I would go out and have a coffee and an eclair because money was tight 10 years ago. And so that felt like a really big step for us. Well, yesterday I was drinking coffee and having an eclair in France. you've got to have your one thing. So it's about helping people find this one thing for them. And really, it's just setting the end results, the taking of baby steps, and the actions that they can take, but doing it in a very supportive, collaborative, small group. It's going to be a lot of fun. That much I can promise the people who come on it. We're toying now with a slightly bigger group, or already breaking it down into smaller groups, because we want the numbers to be tight. We want it to feel. We want people to connect, and we want them to feel that they're with a small group of like-minded people, where it's just good, where it's just good fun, and they get something out of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
I imagine you've got questions, haven't you, Mrs. M, about the technology and the approach?
I didn't, but I can make some up on the spot.
Thank you. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Well, I am in Spain. Maybe I should have done.
No. I mean, where are you going to be hosting this? Is it going to be an online event, or is it going to be?
It's going to be online. Okay. It's going to be online via Zoom. It takes place in the early evening UK time, so it's afternoon US. And as I say, the way it's looking, if we get the numbers, we'll split it down into two groups. We'll run two groups at different times. We'll work a way of doing it. What we won't do is make it feel impersonal, because that's not what this one's about. This one's not about a conference or anything like that. It's about getting on a one-to-one level with people and just probing and digging, because we carry a lot of baggage, and sometimes we lose sight of goals and end results.
There's so much value. There's so much value in this, isn't there, in being with a group of like-minded people, let alone the fact that you might realize an amazing dream, as you've done yourself, and share with other people how the technology for doing that.
Sorry, I was going to say, and one of the things that I'm really hearing from you is it's about intimacy. It's about that sort of like deep connection that only comes about from real intimacy and vulnerability, where you kind of leave your fear at the door. And you step in with a bit of courage and an open heart.
And in these I think as well, that's important. Go on. Sorry, Phil, go on.
No, I think that is very right. But it's a very protected space. It's a very protected bubble where you feel able to do that, because I think it's really important. I think we kind of, in a lot of areas of life, we've lost that. I mean, for a lot of people, their input on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis comes from maybe social media, or maybe the news media. And I think that these may not be serving one as well as they might.
Well said. And to get more specific,
if you only put depressing stuff in, you're only going to get depressing stuff.
Exactly. And if people are thinking, what does I can understand, if the milestone is to create some extra cash for a special moment, as you described, that seemed to be your goal, Phil. But here are some other tempters, starters. If is this one thing, if only I could find a life partner, if only I felt more fulfilled if only I could find someone to share with, if only I had more time to. These are the thoughts that people have every day, and quite often, I think. If only I could get better with, if only that was sorted out, if only I could find peace about, if only I had more money to, if only I didn't feel so, if only I knew what to do about, and if only I could find a way to. These are just some serving suggestions, aren't they? But it gives us the gist of these. These are preoccupying thoughts, and you can unleash the frustration and anxiety around these things with what you're talking about and the course you're providing for people, I suspect.
That is the plan. And it's not. I remember reading Infinite Possibilities by Mike Dooley some time ago, and when I had no money, and it said, "Don't worry about the money," which is easy for someone to say. Yes. Sometimes it's harder to hear when you're the recipient and you haven't got any. But really, money for money's sake is just money. It doesn't actually do anything. It can facilitate lots of things, but it doesn't actually do anything. Having a partner is a big one. I mean, Kimberly, that was on Kimberly's board. She wrote a list of intentions of what she'd like in her next partner after her divorce. And she came up with this long list, and she'd written it all out, and she'd put it in an envelope. And when we were leaving for our life of adventure in the camper van pre-COVID, we got as far as Lincoln on that adventure, by the way. But before we got locked down, she wrote it down. We were clearing out the house, and she came across the envelope with the long list in it. And she said, "Oh, Phil, you've got this one, and you've got this one, and you've got this." And apparently I went down and ticked most of the list. I said, "Well, it's unfortunate, love, you didn't put looks like George Clooney." So you have to be careful what you wish for. But, you know, partners is a big one. I mean, you know, from the work that the two of you do, to be in a relationship with a like-minded soul is kind of a big thing.
Yeah, it is. And I've recently released a video all about triggering. Should anybody want to watch that on YouTube? We did together, didn't we, Mrs. M?
What? How does that tie in?
I was just as soon as Phil mentioned relationships, I went straight to triggering, didn't I?
Oh my goodness!
It was a joke as well. Come on this.
He's naughty, isn't he?
He is.
I have to say,
but lovely.
I'm actually giving him a foot rub underneath the table as we're doing
biting
this.
the hand that feeds me, aren't
Yes, you are. How very dare you?
Don't you worry. I can turn this around, everybody.
Go on.
Because I think people...
we're all waiting to hear.
I've still got an hour to turn this around.
It's funny.
And I can also change the subject as well.
Phil, when I met Carl, he opened up his file facts, and there were... I mean, he didn't write a long list, but he had 4 or 5 Post-it notes with a few words on.
Yeah, pint of milk, bag of potatoes.
No,
that was a shot. Go on, Mrs. M.
But you had lovely lady wife, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I don't think if it's quite those words, but yeah, I am so blessed. I am so blessed in a St. Patrick's Day way.
It's interesting what you say, Phil, because we were both at the time when we met, we were both on the same dating app, and we could have actually met on the dating app. Apart from the fact, you know, the dating apps, they make you specify who you're looking for. And so, you know, I used an age range, I think, and Carl just didn't fit in it. He was just the top side of it. And I said I wanted somebody that was single, that didn't have kids, that wanted kids. And he was looking for somebody who was divorced, had kids, didn't want any more. And so we would never have met because we were specifying exactly who we wanted to meet. And yet we met very naturally, you know, through a shared love of I guess podcasting and chatting and stuff.
So nerdy, isn't it?
Yeah, we're so nerdy. But we met, and the funny thing is we don't actually know. Like it's almost like the sort of consciousness of life knew better than us that we would be a good match. But on paper, we weren't each other's match at all.
And we'd started the ball rolling, hadn't we? We had made a request to the universe, and I think that's part of what you're talking about as well, Phil. We'll talk more because we have Coach Turner's waiting for us trackside. I think he looked like he was in a cage just now. Let's find out what's going on. Give him a nice big round of applause. What was that? Go on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Ian,
how are we all?
We're good. Well, I was just about to pay you a compliment and say, while he was trackside, he looked like he was in like a pop video, you know, because like you could see like him moving around, and it looked sort of urban and a bit edgy. It looked like a bit of a pop movie.
We could have introduced him as that guy from Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, couldn't we?
OMG.
Here he is. So why are you in a cage?
Well, it's a safety cage because the track is just there.
Oh my goodness. And where are you?
It's a bit. I'm at Donington Park Racetrack.
Donington Park Racetrack.
Donington Park Racetrack, which is up near, I guess, Loughborough, Nottingham way. So I've been on the road since 6 this morning.
Wow.
Not only just, well, I suppose quarter of an hour, 20 minutes ago I got here. I'm helping a mate of mine and my cousin. They just bought a race car, so albeit a TR3 from 1957, which was the year I was born. So it's an old thing.
Beautiful.
And it's the first time they're actually getting to try it. So I've got some spanners in the back of my car, and we're going to have a bit of fun today just to see what it's like.
What fun! Okay, I'm looking at pictures of TR3s now, and I will bring them onto the screen. But what fun!
What colour is this one?
It's deep blue. It's quite pretty in that sort of way. It's not my sort of thing, I have to say, but it's quite cool, and it'll be a bit noisy now because they're just beginning to do sighting laps. So I will show you.
Yes, please.
I will show you.
Woo!
Stuff coming past. And here's the TR3 coming.
As if by magic.
Look at that!
So there you are, live pictures from Donington Park.
Wow, tremendous.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here. I'm waiting for my cousin. My cousin, he's a pilot with British Airways, and he flew in from Miami this morning, landed at about 7 o'clock or 6:30, and he's making his way up here now. So I've got to go and find him when he gets here. But this is pretty cool, I have to say.
It is. Yeah. That sounds like so much fun right there. Thank you for inviting me.
Especially as it's only cost me a few tools and not a car or entry fees.
Your crew, are you officially?
I'm crew. They call me Toto Turner now.
Toto Turner.
As opposed to Toto Wolff from the Mercedes team. So I'm now Toto Turner, apparently.
And then when they pull into the pits, you're the guys who run out and jack the car up in about 20 seconds. But I guess it's a bit more leisurely with the TR3, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. And I think we've only got an old-fashioned jack that you have to wind up.
So the driver can get out and go and have lunch, and you'll just do a few changes, and then he comes back.
Exactly that. So,
excellent stuff.
All good fun.
And
so I can't really stay with you for very long.
No, fair enough. Totally understand that. How you keeping? Thank you so much. Because
very well.
Injuries, weren't we? Your coach Turner God Squad tip of the days have been about Rice and injuries and dealing with that side of things. Thank you so much for all that, Ian.
Yeah. Well, talking of injuries, how's Lady K?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Good.
Oh,
Lady K, she's got a lot of nerve ending pain. It's a painful process, but healing is. But all you can do is say, well, it's getting better each time it hurts. It's a little bit of improvement happening. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. I'm not allowed to put the camera on her. She's sitting in the back with Joey the monster dog, and so I'm not allowed to. She said, you can't put the camera on me. It's divorce activity.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You must respect her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Coach Turner, have you got a few final pickies for us? Because I love in the vibe.
Well, you can see.
Whoa.
There's some very nice cars here.
Look at the curves on Earth.
Exactly that. It's just a test day where people are trying the cars out, so it's not competitive in inverted commas. But I'm sure people will be pushing their luck a little later.
Still a lot of fun.
Are
you going to get to have a drive as well yourself?
No. I keep well clear of things like that because I'm not very good. I'm much happier with spanners in my hand and not risking going off at a corner and smashing 30 grand's worth of car.
You don't want to be doing that. The petrol heads are loving it. Donington Pits triumphs, says Portuguese, and he loves the smell of Castrol R from old racing motors. Have you got some of that in the back of your motor as well?
I don't think there's any Castrol R around here. It's all rather synthetic. I haven't smelt any yet, but there's always time.
There's always time.
Do you still get the smell of Swarthega? Do people still use Swarthega around?
Well, I've got gloves to put on, which are actually latex, so it's a slightly different smell. It reminds you of something else. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That brought up some visuals.
Great party. A smell of Swarthega and latex.
Could it get any worse?
No, it couldn't. So I'm sure people do use Swarthega still.
So is Castrol actually caster? Is that the idea?
That's where the name came from. Caster.
No way.
Yeah, Castrol.
Okay.
Yeah. So the original Castrol was, I believe, made from castor oil. So Castrol R is a castor oil based oil.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Before they start digging it out of the ground, I think.
Yeah, and early bit of marketing. Instead of saying castor oil, they said castor oil. Very good. Can we get some final shots? And I know you're busy. You've got to go and get your hands on some tools.
Well, there's some cars just coming into the pits.
Go on, Mrs.
So there we go.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
It's an exciting little world there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
I've
is.
never been to a racetrack.
My family's going to Brands Hatch this weekend.
Are they?
Because my niece's boyfriend is a racer.
Is he?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Thank you. Mrs. M, you had a question?
I don't have a question. I have...
that one's noisy. Most of them are most of them are relatively quiet, but that BMW, I think, is pushing his luck, because there are track limits to the amount of noise you can make.
Right.
BMW drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on,
don't use indicators.
Right. Before you go in, I just want to share a bit of love and gratitude for all the dads out there and all the mums, because in the UK on Sunday it's Mother's Day.
It is.
And here in Portugal it's Father's Day.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it's important not only just to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but let's celebrate all us lovely mums and dads. And
Well
so
said.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, very good.
Well said.
And granddads.
My wife, Mrs. T, and I are taking Leslie's mum out to dinner, to lunch rather, on Sunday. So that'll be good. Yeah.
Thank you, Ian.
I don't do Father's Day, but anyway, I will say ta-ta.
Thank you. I mean, the vibe from the track.
Be back on the God Squad next Monday, I guess.
We'll see you then. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing the vibe of the track to us. Really appreciate it. All the best, mate. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being taken to Donington Racetrack this morning
that's
on
amazing.
this St. Patrick's Day special.
Yeah. Got my motor running.
Being reminded there. You never struck me as somebody who, are any women really turned on by luxury, flashy cars?
No, I'm not. I'm not turned on by luxury, flashy cars, but
right.
I am excited by the vibrancy of being somewhere like that.
Yes,
where it's really edgy and everyone's like wrapping their hands around like a coffee in a paper mug, and and you got the noise, you got the smell. I mean, my dad loved motor racing growing up, and he was always tinkering on his various cars and things. And my cousin that joined us on the live stream last night, he used to do racing. In fact, he raced my grandma's old Mini down Santa Pod racetrack.
Well,
so
we're not talking about a skirt here, are we?
No. He reclaimed her Mini after she crashed it, and
I had a vision of your dad
reworked it.
Your dad wearing your grandma's miniskirt and running down the streets of
that might have happened
Rochester.
Another time.
Yeah,
but,
that's a different weekend.
Yeah, a different weekend. But yeah, I quite like the rush of that.
So I'm tempted. Never been, sad to say, but who knows? We could turn that around. Maybe we'll go to the
have a bacon sandwich.
Portimao racetrack. All of life is there, isn't it? Fantastic. Phil, are you into motors? I think you possibly are.
Oh, I do like the cars. Interestingly, to tie up something that was happening earlier, which was corporate things you can do corporately, and our trip, and this, and motors. We parked first night just outside Le Mans, of course, famous for 24-hour motor racing. And when I worked for Xerox, we decided that we needed a team building exercise, and there was a 24-hour go-kart race in Le Mans, a very good go-kart track, which is literally on the side of the main racetrack itself. And if ever there was a hard-working corporate jolly, that was it. That was the one. Can you imagine doing 24 hours in a go-kart? What were we thinking? But we had a great time.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, Le Mans. These names they are etched, aren't they, in our subconscious as exciting places to be. We can play. Thanks for that, Phil. We can play, and we're going to hear more from corporate life as a man who used to work for Guinness. I imagine St. Patrick's Day was quite an important part of the calendar at Guinness each year. We could do a little bit of Guess the Gumper now. And can you guess who this is from back in the day? That's a nice picture, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Look at that. and here in the band as well. Amazing. Can we guess who that is, Mrs. M? Would it be the unofficial Irish ambassador, do we think?
I think it might be.
I think it might be. And he's about to join us now. Let's bring him on. Look at you, Bobby.
Hey, already
Good
for tomorrow.
morning. You are. Oh, superb.
Good morning.
Superb. And do we have the Blue Peter approach to Guinness today? You're going to show us that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was back in Ireland for Christmas, and I got a lovely present of which, as an Irishman abroad, you don't get the Guinness that you normally have at home. And I had sort of tried to make up my quota for the week I was there. But a friend of mine actually gave me this lovely gift. It was actually called the Guinness Draft Nitro Surge device. And basically what Guinness had done, they brought out this new can of Guinness that you could bring home. It was called Nitro Surge Guinness, but you had to use this device. So it looks like this.
Wow. Okay, let me just zoom in here. This sounds like what Ian should put in the T3 later, the TR3. But
yeah.
On the track.
Had to converter or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, you actually have to plug this thing in, like to charge it up, yeah? And then
you plug it into your laptop.
Yeah, basically you can, yeah. It's a USB.
Perfect for corporate life.
So I thought this, what the hell is this? Is this some kind of gimmick thing or whatever it was? And then they brought out these lovely cans of and it was basically called Nitro Surge Guinness, which was it was Guinness, but it was a taller Guinness can. And they had this thing that basically you open the Guinness, you put this on the top, and you pour it as if you would pour from the draft in Ireland, from the tap. And you basically push this button on the top or here, and it lights up as it drives it in, and it surges. It makes the Guinness surge. And I'm not joking, it makes a massive difference to, say, the normal draft Guinness. It really does. As in, here you have the normal Guinness that you were going to drink today everywhere else other than Ireland, except the Irish pubs. And it has this widget inside that sort of pops and gives you that surge as well. But what we discovered, my son-in-law actually sent me a video of how they figured it out, that the Nitro Surge Guinness is basically flat Guinness. And so what he taught me was, he said, if you take an ordinary can of Guinness, take a pin, and slowly take the air out of the Guinness, and then you can use this on top of it, you get the same effect.
So how did they discover that, I wonder?
Oh, I'm sure they opened up the other Surge of Guinness and discovered it's flat.
Yes. Are you going to do
sure
that
this
now,
had
then?
gone dead, and they tried to drink it. That's flat. So they said, let's make fat Guinness and put this on top of it. So here it goes. I'm going to show you how. I'm after taking out. I took out the air already because a few nights ago I had some German guests and I was showing them it, and I wore most of the Guinness.
Oh.
So
that could be fun then. Yes.
So basically, what you do is take the tap off, like so.
Yeah.
Then you take this magic device, stick it on the top, push this button. It's working. Take your glass and pour.
Look at that.
And then what you have to do is you 3/4 fill it.
Yeah.
Let it settle.
Let it settle, says Phil. Phil's watching. He said he's Guinness training, of course.
So you see the way it's not bubbly.
I can see that. Yeah, it's not as lively or excitable as you might expect.
No. We'll watch it cook. But anyway, that's it.
Do you know?
That's brilliant.
Finish that off then, and it's the same, nearly the same as what you get in the pub.
That's amazing. Thank
Do you know?
What opener gone? Oh, okay. I've got something to open here as well. Nothing like that, unfortunately. But go on, Phil. You were, of course, working at Guinness in what capacity?
I was actually what they call an account manager for Guinness, but my life in Guinness started in northwest London. So I had Holloway Road. I had the whole of the Guinness. I can tell you a fantastic St. Patrick's Day story. I had the whole of the Guinness, northwest London Guinness area. And for anybody who knows northwest London, it was heavily Irish. This was back in let me see, I've got to go back 30 years. So 93, it was busy. And the Cricklewood Hotel, I don't know if you've ever seen it or been past it, as you go down the Cricklewood Road, is a massive, huge edifice of a building. And I would only go there when it was shut because because it had a bit of a I would say it had a bit of a reputation back in the day. And I had to go on St. Patrick's Day. Just have a thought of this. This pub did somewhere between 800 and 1,000 gallons a week of Guinness.
Wow.
Right? A week. And I had to go in and they called it selling in a Guinness promotion for St. Patrick's Day. So I went into the manager and I said, fantastic news. I've got a St. Patrick's Day promotion for you. And I knew no better at this time. This was like my first St. Patrick's Day working for Guinness. I've got a St. Patrick's Day promotion for you. Fantastic news. I said, I've got you a free 11-gallon keg. To say he laughed would be an understatement. I was drummed out of the place faster than you could possibly imagine. Mind you, I'm pretty sure at that time Guinness put an English Jew in charge of that area, as it was the only person who was probably politically neutral enough not to cause offence to anybody.
Yes, yeah. Well, you did your best.
You got no idea. Can you imagine somebody who does 800 gallons a week? Here's 11 gallons for you. Wouldn't have lasted him 2 minutes on St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a nice looking pint.
It is, and
it is a nice looking pint.
Have you got any friends? It is, isn't it? Compared to the darkest thing I could find in there. That's
rum.
Yes. Do you know anyone in corporate there still, Phil?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone back and checked. Probably.
The reason I'm asking is that they should definitely be alerted to this on YouTube, to see Bobby there, who did the most incredible ambassadorial work. And look at this. I mean, if you just take a screenshot now, Bobby should be sent free Guinness for the rest of his life in Portugal, right?
Or maybe you could sort out a deal that, Guinness is shipped over to Portugal.
Yes,
in nice amounts
forever.
Because
it doesn't travel. Isn't that the point you were making, Bobby?
Right?
Is that no respecting Irishman would be drinking Guinness in a so-called Irish bar?
I was trying to actually get the Surge Guinness, the actual proper cans they use with this widget thing,
Yes.
and you can't even buy it online. So it's for Ireland take home only that I can figure out so far. Anyway, so that's why this was devised, if you know what I mean. So
yes,
it'd be great if you could get it here, because it's really nice.
Fair play to you, Irish, because you're ramping up the price of it now. You're making it so much more attractive to everyone.
Excellent stuff.
We're going to have to go to Tudor's Bar later. Who's a Welshman who sells Guinness, and it's not the best, is it?
We've had Mary Hopkins pretending to be Irish this morning, and now we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day in a Welsh bar. We'll improve on that hopefully for next year.
Sorry, Bobby.
Pete is saying, can Bobby do a shamrock on the top? Then I'll be impressed.
No, I'm not a barman.
Phil can. Go on, Phil. Did you learn all these arts then? You were like a
you weren't allowed to go out until you could do a shamrock.
Seriously?
Quite simply, you were not allowed out. But I'm going to ruin St. Patrick's Day for everybody now, in the fact that the truth is Guinness is an English drink.
What?
Sorry.
Get rid of him.
No, of course, Guinness is a porter extra stout, right? Which was the drink that was drank in the markets of London. And Arthur Guinness, being the very, very smart, and by the way, most of the very, very smart individuals I have met in life have come from that island, the island of Ireland. He spotted this drink and took it back to Dublin and created what is the most fantastic dynasty. There's a couple of myths. People think they've gone on the brewery tour when they visited the visitor centre, because the visitor centre is a fantastic tour. You must do the visitor centre tour if you're in Dublin, but don't ever want to go around the brewery because it just looks like a power station, to be honest with you. and they realized that you could drink more of it the lower you got the temperature. So whilst I was there, the temperature went from room temperature down to between 12 and 14, and now it's somewhere between 6 and 8, and you get extra cold Guinness at something around 4 to 5 degrees, and you can fit more in when it's cooler.
So all about the marketing. Incredible.
Isn't everything, I'm afraid.
It's true in our world.
But I love it. I will only drink Guinness if I'm out on a drink, which is very rare now. I will only drink Guinness. So it better be good.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Even at the Welsh Bar, I will drink the Guinness on offer there. I mean, people do take advantage on this special day at $3.50 a can or whatever it's going to be. I think.
I think it's a bit more than that.
Oh, I just wanted to say to Bobby, I appreciate your shirt, but if you could just not beat us by more than 40, so that I can at least, because I mean, it's going to be grim for an England supporter at the weekend, and so just try and have a little bit of sympathy for your English cousins. I'd be grateful.
I heard they're bringing in extra. They have to bring extra help into the field tomorrow to make sure that the English don't leave before the end of the game.
Oh, it's not easy being an England supporter right now. Lucky everything's cyclical.
So 2 days.
World Cup coming up, don't worry.
2 days of fun ahead of us from here on in. So I think we should have our first sip. Are you actually going to drink? Was it for demonstration purposes only, Bobby? Or
no, I'm going to have a sip. I'm going to actually teach you how to drink it now.
Oh, let's do this now.
Because it's the opposite.
Oh, are you going to do the challenge to get? There's a Guinness challenge on YouTube with the one draw to. You have to finish it between the harp and the Guinness on the glass. My son taught me that.
That's it exactly. You have to have the gulp Guinness. You don't sip it like a beer or a wine. It's more.
Here we go. That's traditional way.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's how I drink wine.
Okay. All right.
That's why I drink everything apart from hot tea.
That's honestly
Bobby's reaction.
That's gorgeous.
Look, he's having a religious moment. What's that?
Do you know what this? No.
What's that?
This is the only crisps that existed in Ireland when I was a kid, and we didn't even know the word crisps. We thought crisps were called potatoes. So when they started to bring extra crisps into Ireland, we'd go in and say, "Can I get a bag of prawn cocktail potatoes, please?" or whatever it is, because we just knew this brand. And today it's still the best crisp ever made. Potatoes. Every time we go home, we bring back about 400 bags of this and about 40 kilos of lamb. So like,
I'd love to see the look on the customs face. They open up. Oh, back from Ireland, Derby. Okay, yeah, on you go. That sounds amazing. And so you've raided your Irish larder, especially for today, by the look of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's raise a glass again then. So St. Patrick's Day. What is the traditional? Sláinte. What did we say?
Sláinte.
Just sláinte. Oh, I'd have got you some wine, Mrs. M, if I don't. Superb. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, one and all around the world, as we know we are this morning. And as you said, Mrs. M, to the mums on Sunday, Mothering Sunday on Sunday.
In the UK, and it's Father's Day in Portugal.
Father's Day in Portugal.
So double celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. What a lovely, well, 3 great reasons to keep drinking until Sunday evening. Fantastic. Wonderful stuff. So are we drinking as well, Bobby? Have you sold everything at Herder de Mayo?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, I've sold everything. I've 70 villas still. We're up and we're releasing actually all of the rest of them as of on Tuesday, because first phase is sold. But we had a lot of people saying they wanted to buy one here or wanted to buy one there. So rather than sell it in blocks, what we've decided to do now is we're releasing it all as of on Tuesday. And probably let's let people decide where they want to actually buy the house rather than have to choose from phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 3. So we've released the rest on Tuesday. We've had a couple of celebrities buy actually in the last week. So yeah, I'm probably not allowed to say who they are, so I won't.
No.
But
are they Portuguese celebrities or like foreign ones?
Sorry, no. They'd be Portuguese celebrities, if you like.
Yeah. Very good. Congratulations.
So, so no, I had a massive interest, both abroad as well as local. Actually, had a few of your own viewers have sent us emails looking for more information, etc. as well, which was great. So no, we're quite happy with the way everything's gone, and I'd say we'll probably stop sales again in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. We'll stop sales again until we start the actual physical construction of the houses coming out of the ground, and then we'll probably uplift the prices a little bit.
Okay, now's the time to buy then, by the sound of it. Okay, let's go back to the beer. And from Simon, it's already gone.
It evaporates.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing with the hot weather here in Portugal, isn't it? If you don't drink it quickly, it evaporates. St. Patrick's Day, so roll out the barrels, bang on the drums, so get out the Guinness and drink some rum as well. Is that traditional to finish the day with a bit of rum as well? Or just because it rhymes?
No, it would be more of the Jameson.
Okay, the Jameson. Okay. So talking of drums then, we showed this picture of you earlier on.
Yeah.
You sent, this is a lovely picture. How old were you there?
I think it was 10. I used to love the drums as a kid, and there was a fantastic pipe band in my hometown called Mountmellick, and I asked my mum and dad to bring me to. I wanted to join, and at that stage there was no kids in the band. It was all people that were probably 40s plus, and I was 10, and I walked into this place. I wanted to play the drums, and there was one gentleman, actually two gentlemen, took me under their arm and taught me how to play. And I joined the pipe band, and I was only this tiny little thing marching in the pipe band. I was in it for years. And then my father had been in it when he was a young man, and then he joined it again after I joined it. So both myself and my father were in the pipe band at the same time. And I think I stayed in it for about 5 or 6 years. And then, but loads of other kids joined after that. But it was great. I loved it. It went all over the country. In every St. Patrick's Day parade you could imagine. We'd done about 5 St. Patrick's Day parades in every town locally to where I lived. So you'd have one at 11 o'clock, another one at 12:30, another one at 2 o'clock. So that's how it worked.
Oh, wow. Superb. And you paved the way for more young people to join the band. I can feel a movie coming out of this. So when you say
it's also quite Portuguese as well. Like
yes,
because like with their festas, there'll be like a touring group of musicians, and they will like appear at one festa, drive an hour down the road, be at another festa.
Yeah.
But go on back to your scenic film and ask. You're about to ask.
I was going to say a very similar thing, you know, and the point that was made earlier on about the similarities between Irish and Portuguese culture. Would you say that's true, Bobby?
100%. Actually, one of the things I used to be that I used to do as a younger man was I used to look into the Celtic roots of where the Celts were. Like you have them in Cornwall as well in the UK, obviously Scotland, Wales, the Gaelic as well, and then even in the north of Spain, Asturias and the Galicia, that all is Celtic. It's all Celtic, and you had very similar. Even the Basque Country, believe it or not, where you had similar instruments, musical instruments like the pipes as well. But even the dances, we have this mad dance there called the brush dance. And when we went to the Basque Country, they had the exact same dance. And then I was involved with a place called Charleville Castle. It was an arts thing in Tullamore, County Offaly in Ireland, where they were doing exchange of musicians from different countries. And a big group of musicians came from Bilbao to Tullamore, where the Tullamore Jews from. And they actually ended up playing each other's songs and each other's instruments by the end of the week and knowing each other's dances by the end of the week. It's like cultural exchange, but it was very, very close. So, and it's obviously deeply embedded in the traditions that they grew up with. Probably, I think a lot of it's sort of starting to delete itself a little bit with modern life. But there's still lots of it still there, parts of it still there. But when I was a kid, playing in the pipe band was probably one of the best things I had. I loved it, absolutely loved doing it. So, but now,
could it still be done? Could a 10-year-old in Ireland now do the same thing?
Oh, I believe so. I don't know how cool it is anymore though to be 10 and in the pipe band and wearing a skirt. You know?
Yeah. Was it cool? Was it cool when you were doing it?
No, I was. I was how would you call ridiculed by my classmates but I didn't care. I always had that sort of, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. Don't care what people think. So, but I would have had all my classmates calling me a girl, the sissy, etc.
Really?
But it didn't bother me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
it's the Irish Billy Elliot.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Isn't it? We've got the movie. We have got the movie. And it will bring in political things as well, obviously, won't it, in this
Bobby
film?
Elliot.
Bobby Elliot. But you've got the scene, haven't you? Where oh, go on, Phil.
No, it's just the most liberating thing, isn't it, Bobby? When you turn around and you say, "I don't give a stuff what anybody else thinks."
Yeah.
It's kind of one of the most liberating things you can do.
Let's drink to that.
I have no more Guinness.
I'll do it for you. Okay. See, I've got the scene where you say to your mum and dad over dinner, "I want to be in the pipe band," right? And your dad says, "Okay," right? And then you're sent to bed, right? And then they look at each other and go, "He wants to be in the band. What are we going to do?" And in that Hollywood moment, it's like the mum thinks, "Well, I think it's okay," and the dad thinks he's thinking to himself, can he walk into the local pub without questions or it going quiet? Because there's the dad of the kid who wants to be in the pipe band and wear a skirt.
But even worse was actually we used to train in a hall where the reserve army would be marching training at the same time. So we would be they would be marching while we're drumming. So you had all these guys that were all in military going up, and they're called the FCA. We used to call it the Free Clothes Association, but it was basically the reserve army. If you joined it, you got free boots and free clothes. So.
This is all going in the movie. This is going to be such. Bobby Elliot. Other names for this film, please, this morning. And it could be a crowd-funded thing, and we'll all be rich, and we'll all be on that red carpet drinking Guinness. Go on.
Bobby Elliot.
Yeah.
Drumming home.
Drumming home.
Because the idea that he's coming home to himself, but it's got home in it.
I brought my bow on.
Are you gonna do any more for us?
Can you do a song?
No, it's not a solo instrument. Funnily enough, it's not something that you can do a solo on.
Yes. I remember nearly being killed in a pub one night. There was somebody with a burren, and they were just jamming and stuff, and I was laughing and talking too much in the distance. And I just looked up, and there was a shadow above me. So okay, it's time to be quiet. Right. Guinness is a light beer. Otherwise, the colour is confusing. Oh, okay. So people think it's strong. Nope, says Nubia Net knows a thing or two then about this. I love a porter, says Portuglish. Okay, is that from your work at the hospital? I'm not. It's the only tasty Guinness outside of Ireland is the export style. Now that is a bit different, isn't it? That is a flatter. That is it's got a slight fizz on it, isn't it? The export, and it's a little bit stronger, I think. It's almost like the Irish Sodad in a bottle, isn't it? If you get the export style.
I've never had it.
Have you not? I used to drink that.
The strongest one is the Nigerian. Well, was back in when I was there, which was 14% ABV. And would literally blow your socks off. I tried a bottle of it, and it was
fine.
So if you get an email from Nigeria saying they're offering you the strongest Guinness, it's actually true.
Well, it depends. If it comes from a prince who's stuck on a space station somewhere, possibly not.
Okay, all right. Controversial statement. I don't like Guinness that much. What? Unless
the thing is here is a lot of people don't know Guinness. They haven't really tried. And this is the thing that I get when you bring it up to people. Say, "Oh, Guinness! How could you drink 50 pints of Guinness? It's easy, if you know what I mean." But no, but they don't like it, and they think it's bitter and so. But they haven't actually tried it properly. Like there is, I went into. I won't say where it is. I went to an Irish bar lately to watch a game, and I asked the barman straight out, "How's the Guinness?" That's the first thing that an Irishman. How's the Guinness? And they always say it's good, but that's. And the guy was speaking Portuguese. He didn't even speak English, and he was like, he started to pour it, and I went, "Oh God, no!" You know what I mean? And then a friend of mine came in after, and he says to me, "How's the Guinness?" And I said, "Not great." Sure, I'll give it a go. And he only had the one.
Oh dear!
Or it was that bad. So
disappointing. That's a shame, isn't it? And yeah, they don't know. I mean, they mean well, don't they? People who are trying to serve it to you around the world.
No, that's it. They don't. That's the thing. What you get abroad doesn't represent what's normal back in Ireland. If you know what I mean. I know it sounds weird, but maybe you could explain it.
Yeah, some things don't travel. Phil probably knows.
Yeah, there are a number of technical reasons. Actually, the first one is a mental one. When you're at home in Ireland and you're drinking Guinness in Ireland, you feel like you're drinking the real thing because you are. Technically, as you'll know, in Ireland, the gas bottle is kept separate to the keg. They're two separate things, and the gas is pumped because there was enough throughput. When they were doing kegs and this included the UK at the start, not so much now because they do it differently now in the UK. They actually bring the Guinness over from Ireland. They don't actually brew in Park Royal anymore. But that meant there were more nitrous oxide bottles, pretty much like your miniature, Bobby.
Yeah.
Put more nitrous oxide, makes the bubbles smaller, so it's a smoother, creamier product, right? And that's the difference you get when you're anywhere but Ireland to compare to drinking a Guinness in Ireland.
Okay. The technical.
See, I'm full of rubbish, me.
Brilliant in a pub quiz, and a fantastic coincidence that you should be here with us on this St. Patrick's Day celebration here in Portugal. Funnily enough, wow, Tato Park, the best theme park ever. So that they've got you really get 6 bags of crisps when you get into the park.
You get a tour over the factory. You can't, and actually, I think maybe you can get into it now. I'm not sure. But this they have a big Mr. Giant Tato. So this guy here that you see on the top of the thing,
I'll just zoom in.
This is Mr. Tato.
Yeah.
And they created, it's in County Meath, they created the Tato Park. And when it's not raining, it's a great place to go, but it really is.
Okay, we'll put it on our list. The Guinness store, the Tato tour.
Probably the second visited tourist attraction in Ireland after the Guinness factory. Guinness factory is the number one.
Both, is it, of all of Ireland? Okay, all right. So, I mean, there's 2 great things to do in Ireland right there. Bobby, you cannot deny King are better than Tato.
No.
Oh, dear.
No. Sorry. No.
Okay. I remember going to Tato Park, Europe's longest wooden roller coaster. My son asked where people came from, and they said Tipperary. He asked, is that a long way? Oh, dear. Okay, we do have Irish dad jokes today as well to finish with, which is great. And then more controversy. Pete is, I don't know if Pete's been drinking already. It sounds like what? So it's from Cork, did you say?
Yeah, Murphy's is Cork. It's a bit like they call it the Rebel County, but say they call it the true capital as well. Cork is in Ireland. You have obviously Cork's in the south, and the people from Cork will say that Cork is the real capital. And it's again, then the Murphy's is from Cork, the Guinness is from Dublin, and it's where you're from. If you go to Cork, you'll drink more Murphy's than Guinness. It's what's on offer more so than in Dublin or anywhere else.
It's a bit like Sagrush and Superbog, basically. Then.
Yeah, but
I don't mean to taste. I don't mean to taste quality wise, but regional.
Yeah, it's very regional. Yeah. It is regional. Yeah, Guinness obviously goes global, but and Murphy's probably, I don't know. Kilkenny then is another one which is more of an ale, but like Smithwick's and so on. But Murphy's is Cork. It's
Beamish,
Ireland.
So maybe we've got Guinness is the Coca-Cola, Murphy's is the Pepsi, and Beamish is the Virgin Cola. Maybe. Go on, Phil. Back to you.
Yeah, well, that's kind of true. I mean, Murphy's in the UK was picked up by Whitbread. Beamish was picked up by Courage. Of course, Guinness was standalone on its own. Kilkenny, I think, was that either Bass or one of the Guinness brands as well. Smithwick's is a Guinness brand. Murphy's is a lot sweeter. I think Guinness and blackcurrant, which is an aberration against society, by the way.
Women will only drink with blackcurrant. Most women, well, I'm going to get shot now for saying that. But whatever the ladies' taste buds, the adding of blackcurrant in it makes it sweeter for them to drink, and they like it with my own wife loves it with blackcurrant. I can't stand it with the blackcurrant. It ruins it. But for them, it's sort of sweet.
Yeah. And what
on corporate jaunts, by the way, my job before I left Guinness, my official job was to take Whitbread people who brewed Murphy's to Ireland for the rugby internationals. We used to stay at juries, and my job was to get them so smashed out of their heads that they couldn't remember the game. I mean, what a job. That job would have, if I had stayed in that job, it would have killed me. I would not have stayed
not allowed anymore. It's against European laws to do that to colleagues, I think, now. On health and safety.
It was so fantastic. We used to just roll out of juries down to Lansdowne Road.
Oh, you've had so many good times, Phil, in connection with your Guinness role, I think. What's this about? Black and tan. Is that allowable? Is that permissible?
That's a bad word in Ireland, black and tan.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Why?
Politically, I'm talking. Yes. Let's keep it on the drink and away from the politics, perhaps. But that's a pale ale and stout. Would you go there, as it were?
No, absolutely not.
No, okay, not on any level. What about you, Phil? Keep it pure. Okay.
No, keep it pure.
Yeah,
you can't improve perfection. A wheel's still a wheel.
There you go. So, but Victoria likes a black and tan from time to time. Eagles in as well. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers from a misty 11-degree Belfast this morning. And T-Duck wants you to smash the like button because there's only 7 likes today. Unless people have slumped into their chairs drunk on Guinness and they can't actually reach, they're reaching out for the like button and they can't.
I missed any comments about Tater Park. Is that actually a real thing?
We're going there.
We're
going to be going to the Guinness and Tater Park when we go to Ireland. It's the second thing to do in Ireland over there. Pete's been there. Yeah. Is there any more you want to say about that, Bobby?
No. It is actually a great place to go. It's a family place, really. But now you have a lot, a lot of the other brewers, especially the whiskey brewers, have sort of followed the Guinness with the tours, the touristic attractions, and so on. And even Tullamore Dew now, which is a big whiskey that was, I think, it was brewed in Cork in Middleton. But now they have a massive, big tourist attraction in Tullamore, which is in the centre of Ireland as well. And you have obviously the Jameson's distilleries and so on as well. But it's become a sort of a big, I know it's all about alcohol, but it's become a huge sort of tourist attraction, all this sort of the breweries type thing, where you get to taste the whiskies and so on. So it's followed on from Guinness, and it's been. I went there at Christmas actually to the Guinness factory as well with my family, and it was absolutely fabulous. It really is. It's a great day out. It is.
You know when someone has a great day out and they pause and go, which you just did. It wasn't.
I gave my kids tickets for a Guinness, so we brought all the kids, and basically they also got a ticket. So I had 6 pints of Guinness, 3 pints of Guinness in the rotunda, in the round bar, and so like the kids weren't able to drink; they had enough at that stage. So.
Yes. Oh, wonderful stuff. So it's today, isn't it, around the world where everybody's Irish, basically. And typically, what people say, will refer to their family connection to Ireland. And that's going on. Celt is my blood, says Portuguese. Love Clanadonia, which could be a band, could be a whiskey, could be a disinfectant. Do we know what Clanadonia is? I don't know what that is. Wine tasting in the stars in Alcueva, says another kind of crisp with a family from Wicklow, says Dougie. Happy memories there. And these are those memories, aren't they? So on St. Patrick's Day, you're going to be sat next to someone and everyone claiming to be Irish in some way today. My father, of course, says Portuguese, was first to leave the old country. The family were fishermen on the Irish Sea in Campbelltown. Nubian, I don't remember her name, but she left Ireland on a pickle boat. I later found out it was a fishing boat. Very good. Stockton's Wing have a Burren solo called The Postman, says Dougie. Stockton's Wing, is that an Irish band?
Yeah, it's a traditional Irish band, yeah.
Okay, sorry, forgive me for not knowing that. Irish people all around the world. I'll have to look that up afterwards. Deagle's going to rewatch the whole show later and wishing us a happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, and to you too.
Love to have a Guinness. Excuse me, that's whatever it is. Bohemia is making its presence felt. I'd love to have a Guinness in the little bar in Torres Novas by the river and gardens. So there you go. There's a recommendation today.
Who is that Facebook user?
I don't know, but they know where to find a fairly decent Guinness. I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? So some of them, as you were saying, Bobby, are terrible. Not great, I think was your review. But if you can't get it at all, maybe in Torres Novas. Any other recommendations, Bobby, where to get a decent one? Ish?
Dubai.
Dubai.
Dubai, the Irish village in Dubai. only place outside of Ireland that I found that the Guinness was the same as Ireland. And that's because they fly it in every day.
Really? That's what you would hope for, isn't it? So it doesn't travel and settle, but if you fly it in and drink it straight away, that's a little bit more passable or excusable, allowable. Incredible. Yeah. And Torres Novas, of course, here in Portugal. Taylor Park sounds like a father Ted.
It does, yeah.
It sounds like, but it's not. It
actually sounds like
millions on it now as well. They put in this new big roller coaster, everything as well. It's really is. It's a star attraction.
I think we'll have helped just in the way that world alcohol sales will have got. You got this Schumann resonance around the world. The alcohol resonance around the world, thanks to St. Patrick's Day, will be spiking. Is it? I mean, do you think it's a bit like Halloween, Bobby, with the way that St. Patrick's Day has gone around the world? The way it was celebrated when you were in the drumming band, would that be very different now to what somebody's going to be celebrating in America today, for example?
I think, to be honest with you, I think Irish people are liked around the world, first of all. They're light-hearted, maybe because they're a reason to be light-hearted a lot of the time. But they're light-hearted. 70 million people claim Irish heritage, ancestry. There are only about 5.5 million people actually on the island of Ireland. But we are a sort of a friendly, welcoming people. And the Portuguese are actually quite similar. A lot of the times I hear Portuguese, Irish, very similar in the way they're people that like people. Yes. So I think they attract and draw other people in to them. And I think people like to celebrate. Irish people love to celebrate. And we used to say any reason for a beer or else down or sorrows, one or the other. But it's something I think that travels well. Irish have sort of settled everywhere all over the world, like the Portuguese as well. We've settled all over the world and made our homes there, but we still feel this connection. And even our kids feel the connection back to Ireland as well, because it has such a sort of mythical storytelling past, musical past. It's got a very deep history that a lot of people still refer to. And even the last time I was back there, I think it's the first time since I left Ireland to come to Portugal. That's the Guinness. That I went, yeah, absolutely. I could see myself back living in Ireland again. It is a fabulous place to be. And I think that travels quite well,
It's not contrived. That's what I want to say.
No.
Just with the Portuguese, I don't think the Irish sense of hospitality and interest in people is contrived. And that's a wonderful thing that the Portuguese and Irish share. Caffrey's, was that just always a marketing thing, or is that an actual thing, Phil?
Oh, it was a beer as well, yeah.
No, Caffrey's Caffrey's was Bass in the UK, but I don't know. They brought it across. But Bass was very in bed with Guinness in the UK, so that came across but didn't do much. As regards Ireland, I absolutely adore the country. I've been there many times to watch my beloved Leicester Tigers play in numerous places. And the great thing about the Irish is whether you win or you lose, the crack after the game is the same. And they're lovely winners and they're gracious losers. And it's a great place to go and experience life.
Wonderful.
I was in Croke Park for the Ireland-England first rugby game, and it was a very emotional day for both the Irish and the English. I don't know if anyone really remembers it, but it was. I remember nearly every Irish player was crying with the emotion as the national anthems were being played, including at that time "God Save the Queen," and it was a huge rugby. Rugby. In rugby, the Irish and the English have a huge, deep respect for each other, and I remember during the Troubles that England was the only team that would travel to Ireland to play in the rugby.
Yeah,
because it was
and the Ireland team is the whole of Ireland. It's a whole of Ireland team,
and
it should not be forgotten.
Well said. Yeah, that's the pure proper power of sport there, right there. Not sure about potatoes though. Carl, there are two different potatoes in Ireland. Yellow ones in Northern Ireland, red ones in the Republic. And we've been sent a picture. Political
hard order.
It's a political hot potato. There they are, the different ones.
They're both the same flavour as well. They're both cheese and onion.
Strange. Hopefully that's just a marketing and not a political thing. And there's a St. Patrick's Day celebration with a bit of Tullamore. That looks like something you could get in Portugal, doesn't it?
You do. It's everywhere.
Red wine in it. So Tullamore to you there. So happy St. Patrick's to you, Deagle. Thank you very much. Last few comments. We've got to go and drink. Never mind about live streaming, but we want to get to all the comments here this morning. Have a good day, everyone. From Mark. Safe travels, Phil and Lady K, for the remainder of their journey home. Lots of love to Lady K. Please, Phil. Who remembers Sam Spud's crisps? I don't with those.
Smoky bacon were their best ones.
Okay, smoky bacon is a good flavour.
Guinness, yeah, prawn cocktail and smoky bacon. You need something after you've been drinking for a while. You do need a strong flavour, prawn cocktail or smoky bacon. Harp, was their lager, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had this great ad. It was brilliant, and actually they had a great promotion of Harp, and it was camel racing. So basically, you used to go to the bars, and they had all these pre-recorded camel races. And you would bet on the horses. And because the ad on the television was this puppet camel going, I've come because I heard about the harp. This kind of thing, And it was brilliant. The marketing, Guinness is in the beer's marketing. Actually, I think some of the best advertisements in the world were Guinness advertisements.
True. They used an amazing agency. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's part of their success, I'm sure. Okay, we're moving into the dad jokes, the Irish dad jokes. Why shouldn't you iron a 4-leaf clover? Because you don't want to press your luck.
Very good.
Okay, that's just the direction of travel right now, I'm afraid. Best to drink Irish stout in Ireland and English stout in England. The best in and from both worlds. Thanks by Randy. After the show, stick around for some events. Okay, I'll do the events afterwards for people who are looking to do things in Portugal this weekend. We met guys in Dublin who are very impressed with St. Patrick's Day in Savannah. They'd never seen grits before. Savannah, amazing. American and Irish combo there. My dad's ex told me stories of how they'd watch out for the black and tan when they were young. The ex was from Ireland, so I've been a couple of times, says Lubinet. Tell them more dew. We showed the picture. It's really D-E-W. People think it's dew from the mountain, dew, but actually it's Daniel Edmund Williams.
Ooh.
And I guess they probably just left it that way, right? Gives us a pint of mild bab. Oh, that's Brummy. That's what you say. Is Gives a point of mild bab. Do they have a Ted Fest every year, which is also awesome? Do you dress up as your favourite character? Not sure that is that a Father Ted tribute sort of convention?
I heard they do something. I don't know if it's every year, but I know there is a thing in Galway that they do like some kind of Ted festival.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, if you remember the show, Dougal used to sleep in his Ireland jersey. Every night he used to go to bed in his pajamas with his Ireland jersey.
I hope people will do that tonight.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day event at St. Patrick's Pub in Aveiro. Thank you, by Randy. I think we'll be showing that after the credits. I'll stick around and do those. It's an awesome crack. Anyone fancy going in 2024? Okay, so that's the Ted Fest. I think Pete's got an insider there.
Wow.
So maybe a Gumper bus trip there. 3.7, Antonio F says, scale earthquake was felt at 3:35. One of our Gumpers felt it, Antonio F. Paul was there. And experienced that for the first time in Portugal. You've only got a few more minutes to claim your Irish heritage on St. Patrick's Day. I'm a quarter Irish. Shout out to my ancestors in Beer, County Offaly, and Burr. I beg your pardon. Burr.
The largest telescope in Europe is in Burr.
In Burr. Okay. County. How do I say that? County Offaly. Awfully good county. If I was in tourist information or the tourist board there, it's awfully good in County Offaly.
Uifolha. In Irish language, it's Uifolha.
Uifolha, which sounds Portuguese.
Yeah, it does actually.
The Kofi clan. Shout out to the Kofi clan then. It is brilliant. Nubinet, I think you would make a great Pat Mustard. He's handing out rolls for that Ted Fest trip. Anywhere you go in the world, it won't be long before you meet an Irishman or an Australian. I would add Brummy to that.
And also Portuguese.
Yes, indeed. Where's the whiskey? Says Stoned Bardock. It's right there. We're ahead of you, Stoned Bardock. Interesting. Yeah. I have a great Caffrey's brown denim. Is that because it got covered in Caffrey's from a promotion back in the day? What's this? Get me a funnel and a 2 litre of Jameson. Let's go. Famous last words. I think 2 Iberian wolves were found dead. Oh, I thought it was a joke. That's not a joke. That's not funny at all. So unfortunately, we've lost a couple of Iberian wolves there. Irish, I think it's like two Iberian wolves going to a bar. Irish people, very like Portuguese, big warm hearts. I always find a plate in both countries. People would always offer you a meal. How lovely.
Interestingly, the Irish and the Portuguese have got a reputation for kind of homely food. But obviously the word homely you can't use
not
for
in
the
America.
American sense because it means kind of ugly,
down,
but kind of proper grandma's cooking.
Yeah. You need to
like
answer
proper
this
nice stuff.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So Jameson for you, Bobby, or you got some top shelf preferences as well?
Middleton whiskey is for me the best whiskey in the world. It's you have a very rare Barry Crockett. Middleton, very rare Barry Crockett. He was the master distiller.
Okay.
But it's very difficult not to drink it all, the bottle, in one sitting, to be honest. It is so easy to drink. It's not like, that stuff that cuts the back of your throat. And it's awesome. It's very smooth.
Smooth and peaty, I'm getting. What about you, Phil? You whiskey drinker?
I am. My favourite is a Scotch, I'm afraid. It's Clynelish from the far north. But again, you don't feel it in the throat. You feel it when it warms your chest.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. First thing in the morning. This is the worst chat up. This is the worst chat up line ever. The redhead looks like she wants some whiskey. It could work.
Yeah, that could work.
It could work. I'm doing the Irish jig. Fair seas and following when shipmates and landlubbers.
I could do with some whiskey. That would be nice.
I think.
Thank you for thinking of
me. We're seeing Francis, who's over from South Africa, so I think there might be a bit of drinking this afternoon. Here we go with a limerick. Carl Munson's a bit of a geezer. His wife is a gorgeous Louisa. Every day of the week, you can hear them both speak, but unfortunately, the last line doesn't rhyme. What a talented audience we have. And they've got great hurlers. We have not talked about hurling this morning. That's a proper man's sport, isn't it?
Okay. Actually, I brought some, I think they were Hungarians. They were over in Ireland one time. I brought them to see. We're doing some kind of, I was doing properties in Hungary at the time. I brought them to watch a hurling match in Croke Park. And I think it was a final. It was either a Leinster final or an All-Ireland final. And they just couldn't get over it. They just thought like we were all crazy. There was people trying to chop each other's heads off with sticks, But if anyone
and then drinking together afterwards and having a great time hugging each other after the match.
Oh yeah. No, but on the field, it's a different story. On the field, it's different,
Yes. Unofficial ambassador of Ireland. Thank you so much for being here this morning, Bobby O'Reilly. All the best to you. Have a great weekend. I don't think you're going to need much encouragement. And Phil, thank you so much. Love to you. And Lady K, good luck with the course. Mrs. M, thank you for being here. Sorry, I did do my hyena thing and I put humour before love, my love of you. So here, let me raise a glass to you as well. Love you, Mrs. M.
You did turn it around.
Did I turn it around?
Yeah, right at the end.
I think it might be my Irish ancestry that helped me with that at the end there. How do you know? How do you know when it's a summer in Ireland?
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. All the rain gets warmer. What does it mean when you find a horseshoe in Ireland? Some poor horse is going barefoot. And what do you call a fake Irish stone? Well, it's a shamrock, of course. A shamrock.
Very clever.
And an Irish toast for you to send you on your way. We've got actually a visual. We have a visual version of this as well. Here's the Irish toast. May you live as long as you want and not for as long as you live. Very nice. Thank you very much for all of those, T-Duck. And the Portuguese toast, of course, is a tosta mista.
And then there's the French toast underneath.
There you go.
Cinnamon, eggs, bread, and
there you go. Various toasts from around the world. That's been fantastic this morning. I'll do a few events after the titles, but I just want to wish you all a very happy weekend. Bon fin de semana.
Yeah, and happy Father's Day, Mother's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Mother's Day. And can we leave you, unofficial Irish ambassador, to say happy St. Patrick's Day in a much better way than I did? Could you do that for us?
Yeah, Lofela Portugal agus Gormila Mahagud agus Canary and Boherla.
How about that? Could you do that one more time, please, so we can slow it down?
Lela Porrick agus Gormila Mahagud agus Canary and Boherla.
Bless you. And thank you so much. and everybody for being this morning. Have a great weekend. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, I'm back with some events for the weekend here. So have a great day today with St. Patrick's Day. Some things to do for you here in Portugal. First one being the Primavera, a springtime walk and lunch in Povo de Lomba in the Bairrada region. Thank you, Bairrandi, for these. Free museum visit in Codinha, Cantanhede. And that will be the Vistas Patrimonio, Agricultural and Ethnographic Museum of Codinha. Who knew? Is located, here we go, in a beautiful agricultural area with great wine growing tradition and offers a view of how everyday life was before the modernization and use of machines. That sounds great. The museum is dedicated to the hardworking, and it finishes there, but I suspect the spirit of the Portuguese people, especially in that region. We've got a bubbly tasting evening. You can tie that in with, you can tie that in with St. Patrick's Day, the continued celebrations thereof. No, that's a little, well, you could if you wanted to carry on celebrating until, I think, the 25th and 26th of March. Korea Palace Hotel. This is a great place to go. Korea hosts the first national meeting of Espumante the Champas of Portugal at the splendid Korea Palace Hotel. What an amazing event that will be. That looks like one to dress up for. Wonderful. And very good value as well, I think, at 10 and 15 euros there. There we go. There's our St. Patrick's Day celebration. I'll come back to that one, especially in Aveiro. Festa de Pão in Val de Ilhavo. Bread rolls, Easter bread, Bro de Milho. It's coming up for Easter, isn't it? Bro de Abobura in the Vale of Ilhavo. The wisdom to make these handmade recipes has been passed down from generation to generation, especially from mother to daughter. Taste those fantastic breads with boiled eggs in them sometimes in Ilhavo from the 18th to the 19th of March. That'll be that's this weekend. And finally then, and I'll leave you with that wonderful St. Patrick's Day blessing, but celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the St. Patrick's pub in Aveiro. They serve one of the best pints of the black stuff in Portugal. Great bunch of people to have a good crack with. That you will see, as with all these other events and many more, on our Gumper map. So have a wonderful weekend. Bon fin de semana, everybody, on St. Patrick's Day. May music fill your heart. May luck bring you cheer. And may God's brightest blessings shine on you all year. Take care. Bye for now.